rougher every week. I'm going to have to get that old mother box tuned up. Oh my God. Here we are once again. Deep from an undisclosed secret location, hidden somewhere deep in the dark, dark recesses of historic downtown St. John's, Newfoundland, comes in the Library of Graphic Literature. With me, your happy host, Wallace Ryan. Now speaking of happy and not being happy, of course, last week, now of course, this episode is a little bit late because of the weather out this way and all that, so I haven't gotten to share my thoughts on the passing of Stan Lee with all you fine folks out there. So instead of getting into a long, involved discussion of Stan and his legacy and all that, I thought it'd be very simple and tell you my Stan Lee story. Very simple, very easy, and no judgments and no arguing. So I think it was 1998. Actually, I was at Wizard World in Chicago at the Rosemont Center, and I was actually standing outside. It was probably late in the afternoon, 3 or 4 o'clock, and I was standing out there having a cigarette. I smoked at the time. I don't anymore. And I was standing there, and then I looked across the parking lot, and I seen Stan Lee, and he was some other guy with him. Didn't recognize him, walking towards me. And with that, I put out the cigarette, and I walked right up to him. I stuck my hand out, and I said to him, "Hey, Mr. Lee, no," I said, "you're a great man, Mr. Lee." And he shook my hand. He says, "You know what? You're right." And then he and his partner continued on, and I just stood there, still in shock over meeting the legend. And but I loved it because it was, his response was classic Stan Lee, and it made my day. Anyway, I know everyone will miss Stan, and Godspeed. Anyway, down to books. Actually, there's one other thing too I wanted to in terms of books that I wanted to mention was, and sad news in another different way, was that DC pulled the plug on their Detective Comics before Batman 2-book Omnibus set. I don't know if it's because, you know, suddenly they're frightened about whether or not it's politically correct or whatever, but I gotta send this out to you folks at DC, is by not printing Detective Comics before Batman, you're doing a disservice to the comic book historical community out there, for all the historians and scholars and all that who don't have ready access to these comics. It's like I say, it's a bit of a disservice. I mean, I've seen, you know, racist stuff and all that in other books and all that, but it's always prefaced at the start of the book, talking about how, you know, whatever you see in this is a product of its time and all that. And I agree with a lot of people to censor this stuff is like denying that it ever existed, and it did exist. And we as a culture have to, you know, grow up and live with our past mistakes, and there's no better way of living with them than sharing them with people and showing them. A lot of times when I'm teaching my class, I'll actually show politically incorrect cartoons to my students, but it's great because it gives me a chance then to teach them about it. As I've said to them, and they've all agreed with me after, and I've said, you know, it's one thing I can tell you about racism, what racism is, and blah blah blah, but it's much better when you experience it yourself in an observational role, and make the judgments for yourself, and really see it for what it is. There's no better opinion than when you make your opinion based on direct experience, I think, rather than what someone tells you to like or not to like. So you folks at DC Comics, I hope you reverse it. Actually, if anything, I'd love to see you reverse it. I know that myself and a lot of other people ordered that book, and in a lot of ways, not coming out with it is borders on creative cowardice, I think, in a lot of ways. So I know that's pretty strong, and I'm usually very nice, but I was just very upset that they did cancel it, and hopefully, like I say, maybe they will bring it back out, and we can share a little bit of the forbidden history of comics. Anyway, let's get down to work here. So, what do we have here this week? Oh yeah, and of course this week, or last week, this is why this episode is so late, was that the weather was so vicious out this way. We had actually the worst weather on Earth last week. We had the highest waves, the highest, it was just the highest winds. It was just unreal. It was, I mean, the library here in which I'm sitting right now, it actually shook. The house itself shook from the wind, so that'll tell you. Anyway, let's get down to work here now. I've missed you folks, actually. It's been almost 10 days. I think the 9th was when I did it, so, you know, it's, I kind of miss it, because I love sharing my love of comics with you folks out there, and then answering your comments when you comment on my videos and stuff like that. It's, you know, it's part of my week. Anyway, so let's start off. Woohoo! Get off me! Get off me! Let's start off this week with the final brick in the wall for Dark Horse's run on Conan the Barbarian, the colossal King Conan. Doom, 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 doom. As we all know, in the New Year's, Conan will be reverting back to its original comic book home of Marvel Comics. So I guess Dark Horse wanted to, you know, get all their comics out and in book form while they still could. And I gotta say, I really do like Dark Horse's run on Conan. A lot of good stuff. I mean, I'm a huge Barry Windsor Smith fan and a bit of a John Buscema fan, but I gotta say, Truman and the folks did an amazing job on Conan for Dark Horse. Now this, let's take off the cover first of all. Here's the cover, spine, the back, and this. Let's see what. No, usually it does have. Talks about it. Oh yes, this is the King Conan series collected into one deluxe hardcover. Adaptations of Howard's short stories, The Scarlet Citadel, Phoenix on the Sword, and Wolves Beyond the Border are included, as well as the 12-issue adaptation of Conan's only Conan novel, The Hour of the Dragon. And has a few other things, stuff like that. But yeah, really cool. I can't wait to get into this one. I just finished reading the Conan the Cimmerian Omnibus, and I got a taste for the Conan comics again. I was a huge fan of it growing up, and these folks have rekindled my love of it. So anyway, like I say, for any of you Conan fans out there, I'd highly recommend you give it a try. Now let's just have a quick look at some of this art. I actually really do like the art. I think Truman and crew do an amazing job. So if you're a fan of Conan the Barbarian, run out and pick yourself up this classic. Although I do believe this, I think this book is, if not sold out, it's gonna be sold out pretty quickly. So run out or run to your computer and order it up for yourself. If people ask you, tell them I sent you. Anyway, so good old Conan. Love it. And Giorella does the art of that, and he's amazing. So, let's go for our other Dark Horse book first. Now, from a more contemporary favorite of mine comes. Come on, let's try to tear this open here. Oh, there's a hole in it. I don't even need to use my thing. Cullen Bunn actually is one of my favorite of the new writers these days, and most just about everything he's done I've really liked. I loved his Magneto series. I think he did that, wasn't it? Yeah, and other stuff he's done. But this book is something that many people have recommended to me, and I've been dying to read it. Harrow County. As it says on the back, Emmy always knew that the world surrounding her home crawled with ghosts and monsters. But on the eve of her 18th birthday, she learns that she is connected to these creatures and to the land itself in a way she never imagined. Boom, 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 boom. So this is the first 2 volumes of Harrow County, and everyone online and people who buy this swear by it. So now myself, I haven't read it, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. Let's take off here's the back. So yeah, I'm looking forward to giving it a try. Actually, like I say, everything I've read by Bunn, I've loved. So hey, run out and pick it up. Let's have a closer look here. I like the art style too. Beautiful production. Great production values there, Dark Horse. I love it. Looks like a real moody piece. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this, and I shall read it within the next few days. Anyway, see if I can read it over the weekend if I can. So yeah, big props to Cullen Bunn and Tyler Crook. Thank you for supplying me with another great book to read. This one probably deserves a kiss. Kissy. Oh, now on to the Mighty House of Marvel. And this week from Mighty Marvel, we have not just one book, not just one, but 2 books for you, for your edification. First, of course, is a Marvel Masterworks, for you Marvel Masterworks fans out there. And this one, oh, get off that. This one is volume 17 of The Mighty Thor. These, I actually had every single one of these when I was growing up, and I liked it. It's I was a big fan of Thor. Now this Thor contains some of the first Walt Simonson, some of Walt Simonson's first try on the Thor, but Simonson was inked by Tony DeZuniga on these, and to be quite honest, I don't think DeZuniga really captured Simonson at his best. I mean, you can sort of see the Walt Simonson lurking just beneath it, but he really takes a big bite out of it. Now, the other cool thing about this that I'm really happy, besides the comics, is this also has the Thor the Mighty from the Marvel Preview magazine. Oh, here, let's get up close here. I had this when I was a kid. Now, this is a Thor story done by, of all people, Jim Starlin. Now, it's inked by DeZuniga, but still, it's still not too bad. I like the story anyway. And so yeah, one of my more favorite stories. And then, along with this is a Bill Mantlo, Val Mayrick story, Hercules. Beautifully drawn. One of my favorite. I love the Marvel magazines of the 70s. I really miss them. And like I say, in here, like I say, you can sort of see, the Simonson just lurking just barely beneath there. Now he was to come back shortly afterwards and take over completely, and revolutionized Thor. He'd done some of the best Thor comics since Kirby and Lee. So think about that now. Okay, let's see. Speaking of Mighty Marvel once again, Doctor Strange. Feeling kind of Doctor Strange tonight. Are you feeling Doctor Strange tonight? No, I am. Anyway, this, as longtime viewers of the show will recall, I'm a huge Doctor Strange fan. And I actually liked Aaron's run on Doctor Strange, especially Bachelo. Bachelo, to me, is one of these people who is tailor-made for Doctor Strange. I think to do Doctor Strange any justice, you have to have kind of a unique art style. I mean, from Ditko to Gene Colan to Frank Brunner, back to Gene Colan, your P. Craig Russells. It always takes a certain special type of artist, I think, to succeed on Doctor Strange. And in this one, like I said, I think that that the boys hit it out of the park. I love I also love that cover done by Nolan. Still a great cover. And let's have a look here. Oh, look at this. I've always liked Bachelo's artwork from the very first time I seen him way back on, it was Death, the Sandman Death one. But yeah, style unlike anything you'll ever see out there. So there's some mixed stuff there. Bachelo has the style. Like I say, that is just absolutely perfect for the Doc. But yeah, check it out. And even Nolan does a decent job too. So yeah, have a look for it, pick it up, and buy it, and enjoy. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy. Oh, and between now and my last show was my granddaughter Sophia's birthday. Happy birthday, Sophia. One of my biggest fans out there, one of my biggest supporters. And a great fan of graphic novels herself. So, lots of love to you and to your mom and to your brother. Now, last book of its series, but definitely not least, comes Don Rosa Volume 10. Oh, I always feel kind of depressed when I end a series. Sigh. But yeah, it's kind of like it reminded me when I was a kid and finished doing a play or whatever at school, and you'd be doing it the whole semester, and you put on the play, and then after that it was just like an emptiness. And I find that sometimes when I finish reading a series, it's just like, it reminds me of when I used to read books when I was a kid, and I'd have that feeling after reading the book that I loved it so much that I wish I could get amnesia and read the book all over again. Fortunately, for this now I don't need amnesia because I haven't read these stories, but I've read every story up to this point from Don Rosa, and his Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck is second only to Carl Barks in terms of great duck stories. I highly recommend any and all the books in this series. I especially recommend his classic, The Life and Times of Scrooge McDuck, possibly one of the greatest duck comics of all time. But yeah, so this is it's the end of the road for Don's library here, and I'm going to enjoy every last bit of this. So let's have a quick look here. But it's these, and this is why I love Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge. I love the duck stories. They're filled with adventure, and and a certain zaniness and a certain craziness to them that just speaks volumes to me. And of course lots of cool stuff in the back there. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of miss this. So any of you who haven't had the pleasure of reading a Don Rosa Duck story, check it out. And by all means, sure, go mad, go mad. Oh, anyway, that's let's get rid of that. That's it for this week. I don't have any. Oh, what a nice sound. I don't have any back order books to go through, because I figured I'd yammer on and off about the books that I do have here this week. So that being said, oh, someone's looking for me. Anyway, I better. Oh my God! Oh, I hate these numbered. Hang on a sec. There. Usually I shut down all the sound, and I usually don't have the phone in my studio, so excuse that. So anyway, now I may actually, I'm hoping that we get our comics on time this week. And as you all know, we get our comics one day later up here on the far eastern shores of North America. So hopefully we'll have another episode in 2 days, if not 3 days, on Friday. But and always, if you're wondering what's happened to me or whatever, it usually is that the comics are late. That's the only reason that I won't do my show, because I like doing this. It's a lot of fun indeed. Anyway, with that, oh my God, look at the size of that ute. Boom tube. See you folks. Love you. Keep on reading. Bye. Whoa.